So we are in our notes. We are 7-5, letter B. So like before and like always, I will set, when you get a test question, it's going to look like this. So you're going to have a chart to fill in, you're going to have some constraints to write, you're going to maximize or minimize something, and you're going to graph it, and then answer the question. All right, so while I'm getting it all copied down, would you start filling in the chart? Remember that when you fill in your chart, not every box has to be full, but every number has to be in a box, okay? So if you put every number in the box, then you're done. So while I'm getting all this copied down, would you please start filling in? First number I see as I read the problem is 24. Where does the 24 go? Total, low. So row, total. This is like a matrix. So the low row, total column, right? And where does the 6 go? Total medium. And then the 30 goes total high. Everybody okay with that? All right, the next number I see is factory A produces 8 tons of low grade. So factory A, 8 tons of low. And then factory A, 1 ton of medium and 2 tons of high. It costs $2,000 per day to operate. So where does the $2,000 go?
A cost.
A cost. Factory B produces 2 tons of low, 1 ton of medium, and 8 tons of high.
4,000.
And it costs $4,000 a day to operate. How many days should each factory operate to fill the orders at minimum cost? So this is another minimum problem. And I want to minimize the cost, which is going to be $2,000 for every A day, plus $4,000 for every B day. Would you agree? So don't I really want to find out how many days A works and how many days B works?
Yes.
So I'm going to let X be the number of A days, and I'll let Y be the number of B days. Now, you could actually use the letters A and B if you're okay with that. When we graph, normally it's X and Y, but if you can do A and B, it's the same thing. So my minimum is going to be 2,000 X plus 4,000 Y. Now, we're not ready for that yet. If you remember from yesterday or whatever day that was, when we finally get around to having the graph all done and we found our corner points of our shape, this is where we're going to plug the corner points in. And then whichever answer is the lowest, that will be the answer to the question. But before I can even begin to do that, I have to build some equations that I'm going to graph. So, what are my equations going to look like? Well, right here. What's that top row?
8x plus 2y.
Let me say one thing. Equations are rows, okay? So this is an equation, so that's gonna be, what did you say, Alexis?
8x plus 2y is greater than or equal to 24.
I need to supply at least 24 tons of load. Yep, so greater than or equal to 24. And what about this row? What does this row say?
X plus y is greater than or equal to 6.
And finally,
2x plus 8y is greater than or equal to 30.
now does everybody go along with that? Is everybody okay with those equations? All right, so now I'm gonna graph them, and feel free to use colored ink, colored pencils, whatever works for you. Oh, by the way, remember there's two that are kind of automatic in here. X and Y are positive, or X and Y are positive, so they have to be bigger than or equal to 0. Now, I'm not marking it wrong if you don't include those, because they're already in the picture. But if by chance things aren't going well for you, the more you write down, the more points you get. So go ahead and put those down if you think. All right, I'm gonna graph this one in red. And I think this time I'm just gonna use a scale of 1. So if I cover up X, in other words, let X be 0, Y will be 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I cover up Y, X is 3. So I'm going to draw as straight a line as I can right there. And where will that be shaded? Out, right? Out here. You all right with that? Okay, now I'll do this one in blue. If I cover up X, Y is 6. And if I cover up Y, X is also 6. Where is that shaded? Out. So right now, would you agree I'm in this space right here? Because I have to be above red and above blue. All right, and then I'll use handy dandy purple marker to do this one. So if I cover up Y, if Y is 0, X is 15, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think you have plenty of squares there to handle that. And if I cover up X, I'm going to get a fraction. Do not panic. I get 3.75. 30 divided by 8, 3.75. So that's 3.75. I'm not alarmed at all. And that one is also above. So let's look at the shape that we've got. We have to be above everything. So we have to be above red, above blue, and above purple. So this right here would be the shape. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Now, this time it doesn't make a polygon. There's no top on it. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, corners.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are automatic. 0, 12 and 15, 0. The other 2 I'm going to have to work for. You remember? Let's focus on this one right here. This is where red and blue come together.
So you have to add
So what do I do?
equal to each other and then
Substitute or eliminate with red and blue. So 8x plus 2y is 24, and x plus y is 6. That's this point right here. So you can substitute, or you can eliminate, or you can do Kramer's rule. It makes no difference. I don't need to tell you what I'm gonna do, because you already know. But you don't have to do this. I got x is 2, and y is 4. Did I do all right with that?
Yes.
Now you got one more to find. Now you gotta find where purple and blue cross. Purple and blue are crossing right there. Purple and I got 3, but I might have made a mistake because I did that kind of fast.
I also got 3, 3.
Okay, good. Let everybody catch up. Ask a question if you're not sure how we got 3, 3. Now, while you're finishing that up, notice that there's a point right here where red and purple cross, but I don't want that one. Do you understand why? That isn't one of my big black corners. I have to be above red, above blue, and above purple, and that's out here. So I don't worry about that point. I don't need that one. I don't need this one. I don't need this one. I only need the ones that create the shape. Everybody with me? All right, now what happens?
You plug it into the
Now I take each one of these and plug them into this right here. This will be a calculator problem on your test because there's a arithmetic. So 4,000 times 12 would cost me $48,000. This one's gonna be $30,000 because it's 15 times 2,000. Now this one will be 2,000 times 2 plus 4,000 times 4. So that's 20,000 if I did it right. And 20,000 plus 15 plus 4,000 times 3. And this one's 18,000. So the answer is 3 days for factory A and 3 days for factory B. That's your answer. That's what you write down as the answer. 3 days for A and 3 days for
Can you
B.
just put down the coordinate point, or do you have to do 3 for A?
You probably should say what it means. So 3 days for A and 3 days for B.
I like this group. Really?
All right. Now, don't despair. I know this is the last one officially in the notes, but one day I gave you some extra practice, so we've got more to do. Don't get sad because you think it's all over. All right, go ahead and get started. Let's see how far you can get. I know you've only done a couple, but let's see how far you can get.
I'm not gonna take it.
Get busy. for me. Oh no. I wonder if I can label my chart myself. Let's read the problem and see if we can figure this out.
I have exactly what you mean.
Now, I'll give you a hint. What ultimately is the answer when we do this problem? I mean, not the actual number answer, but what are we looking
A
for?
maximum.
Well, we want to know how many
Potatoes and
acres to
corn.
plant corn, or, not corn, corn. How many acres to plant corn, and how many acres to plant potatoes, right? Isn't that ultimately what we need to figure out? So whatever it is you're figuring out is what goes at the top of the chart. So we're gonna have corn and we're gonna have potatoes at the top of the chart. Okay? Always figure out what you ultimately want to know, and that's gonna be the top of your chart. Now, the other things are gonna go on the side. So what are the other things in here?
So,
Sir?
$20.
Okay, well, that's gonna be cost, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and put cost here. Actually, I'm not gonna put cost there, I'm gonna put cost here. Okay, we'll put cost here, all right? So what'd you say, $20
For
for
potatoes,
potatoes?
and then $60 for
60 for corn.
corn, and then that has to be greater than or equal to 3,000, or less than or equal to
Yeah,
3,000.
that's gonna be less than or equal to 3,000. So your first equation is 60x plus 20y is less than or equal to 3,000. Does everybody understand why that's a less than? If you only got 3,000, then what you spend better be less than 3,000, right? Don't you go putting it on a credit card. All right. What else? What? Okay, so the number of acres, and I know I got 70, right? And I don't know how many they are, but I called them X and Y. Haven't I? I know that's what I did here with Sir's equation. So X plus Y has to be less than or equal to 70.
It doesn't have a cost.
Well, I got the cost here.
So, but then it says
Profit.
the profit per acre.
Oh, the profit, okay. What's the profit?
50 for corn and 150 for potatoes.
50 for corn, 150 for potatoes. Now, that is not an equation. That is what I am maximizing. Kids, you know enough about life, you're old enough to know that when the farmer or any businessman says, I want the optimal solution, what is he talking about? Making the most money that he can make.
Yeah.
So we want to maximize our profit, which is 50x plus 150y. So when we get around to finding all those points and plugging them in, this time we won't look for the low answer, this time we'll look for the high answer. Is every number in the chart?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yep. All right. We even have our equations built. We also have the two constants there. And looking at the size of these numbers, what are you thinking about a scale?
Count by 10.
Count by tens? Now, is the scale going to impact your answer? No. So if you'd rather use fives, I'm fine. I would not use ones because you don't have room for 70, but I think 10 is a good choice. So I'll do this one in red right here. calculator to help you with any arithmetic you need. If I cover up y, let y be 0, then x will be
50.
50. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 50. Now make sure, even though you're only counting over 5, that you're calling it 50. And then if I cover up x,
150.
y is 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15.
And since we're only doing, oh, never mind.
That's supposed to be a straight line, mine never are. Where do I shade?
Below.
Below. So at this point, the only thing you're looking at is this triangle. Did I drop that? Yep. The only thing I'm looking at is that triangle right there. Would everybody agree? Because it's a less than. Okay. So now I'll do this one in blue. So isn't that just going to be 70 and 70?
It'll also be down.
And that one is also below shaded. So what is alternately shaded? I'm below red and below blue. So it looks to me like it's outlined by this. And there are 4 vertices, 4 corner points, and 3 of them I know. 0, 70,
0, 0.
0, 0,
50, 0.
and 50, 0 are known. I don't even have to do anything to get those. Those are there. Now I still need this one. So where is he coming from?
From the x plus y and the 60 x plus 20.
The blue equation and the red equation are crossing. So I have to solve 60x plus 20y equals 3,000 and x plus y equals 70. Would everyone agree with that? And do whatever you do. Whatever flips your switch. Here we go. I got 40, 30, but I could have made a mistake, so I'll wait for you. Or check me if you've already done it.
I got 40, 30.
Gone a little bit. So for 0, 70, I'm getting, I think my,
You use a calculator. Are you talking
Yeah.
about the value you get?
yeah, but I think because my numbers are different because I've switched. So my X is potatoes, my Y is corn.
Okay. Did you
And-
get 70, 0 then as one of your corners? Your
Yeah.
picture, yeah.
My picture's a little different.
Yes,
Yeah.
your picture will look a little different, but your final answer is gonna be the same.
The same, yes. This is wrong.
All right, how does 40, 30 look for those of you that set it up the way I did? Sir, you should have gotten 30, 40, setting it up the way you did.
Yep, I did.
Okay, we're all good. So, again, we talked about this before, there's always more than one way to do the problem. It's important that you identify what your X and Y are. My X was corn, his X was potatoes. That's fine. Our work's gonna look a little different, but the answer is gonna be the same. All right, what if I plant no corn and all potatoes? I got 10,500. What if I don't plant anything?
0.
Yeah. I don't know if I said this to you the other day or not, but the feasible region that you get always gives you both the max and the min. So obviously the minimum profit is gonna happen if you don't plan anything, right? That's not the one I want the maximum. So this is gonna be 2,500. And this one is going to be 50 times 40 and 30 times 150. It's 6,500. So what are you going to tell this farmer to do?
Don't plant corn, plant 70.
Like, don't plant any corn and plant 150, or no, 70 acres of potatoes. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, now, just a little lesson from the girl that grew up on the farm. Some of you live on farms too, I'm sure. Will this farmer be able to plant no corn and 70 acres of potatoes year after year after year? No. You have to rotate your crops, right? Right? So Mr. and Mrs. Ford have a farm. We inherited a farm. We have it farmed. I don't drive the combine. We have it farmed. But the last few years, corn has brought a much bigger monetary benefit and profit for us than have soybeans. But we can't plant corn every year. So some years we just have to plant beans and we make a little less money. But that's the way it goes. Okay, let's try one more. One more. Yeah. Yep. I like the next one. All right. Okay, here we go. Find the extra linear programming practice sheet that I gave you some time ago. I gave it to you at the same time that I gave you this review thing. There are two of these. We're only going to do one today. So, do you want to do the Coca-Cola problem or the parking lot problem? Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Here we go. Now, this problem, which I obviously copied out of the book, not only is the chart set up, but there are numbers put in the chart for you. Right? Now, the only thing not put in the chart is the profit. I would like for you to read the problem and make sure you understand why we have, vanilla. Why we have the numbers where we have them. So you understand they're letting Coke be X and vanilla be Y. So X plus Y is the total. That makes sense, doesn't it? And then machine hours for Coke is 3 and man hours is 4. For vanilla, it's 2 and 3. I have 54 machine hours and 75 man hours. Does all of that make sense to you?
With all of our,
Oh yeah, they don't even give you the words.
yeah, they just,
Okay,
So
this is a situation.
so now since they don't give us like any situation, are your constraints now set equal to each other, or is it
No, we're gonna have the same thing, it's for us.
Okay.
What this chart means is that if I want to build or make a case of Coke, it takes 3 machine hours and 4 man hours. to do that. Total, my machine is available for 54 hours. My men are available for 75 hours. Now, in the problem, it says I'm gonna make $20 for Coke and 25 for vanilla. So what will my constraints be?
3x plus 2y is
3x plus 2y
less than or equal to 54.
less than or equal to 54.
4x plus 3y is less than or equal to 75.
And of course, x and y are both positive. Now, what do I want to maximize or minimize?
You want to maximize.
It's down at the bottom. Find the number of each type of Coke that can be produced in order to maximize profit. And how will I calculate profit?
20x plus 25y.
20x plus 25y. Now, let's stop right there. I know this problem's a little odd because they didn't even give you very much in the words, but everything you need is in the chart. Here are your constraints. There's your profit. Everybody okay? Yes. All right, go. Graph it and give me an answer. Graph it. Give me an answer.
This isn't good.
The exact same line. It's frustrating.
To figure out why. Okay, I'm just not thinking right.
No, you're
Really, I hear a lot of cackling for some reason. Oh, in trouble, stop cackling. How about that alliteration? I did black and purple this time, and for my black equation, I had intercepts at 18 and 27. And of course, that's supposed to be a straight line, but mine looked terrible. Purple, I had intercepts at 18.75 and 25. Now, I know these two lines cross each other, but because my lines were so bad and I had to squish everything up, I have no idea where they cross, but I'm gonna figure it out algebraically. Are your lines crossing each other? Okay, so we'll figure out the picture matters, but it doesn't have to be totally exact. All right, so I need to find out my corners. These are both shaded below, right? So would you agree that your corners are 0, 25, 0, 0, 18.0, because I'm below both. And this guy right here, which I have no idea where he really is, he could be down here farther, I don't know. Would you agree those are gonna be my points though? This one, that one, and this one? All right, so how are you gonna find that point, that missing point? There, that my picture is terrible for, so I need algebra. What am I gonna do? 3x plus 2y equals 54, and 4x plus 3y equals 75. Okay, let's solve that. Figure out how you want to do it. Kramer's rule. Maybe I'll just do Kramer's rule this time.
It was so nice.
I got that point to be 12.9. Okay, I guess I'm off a little bit, but 12.9?
Yeah.
Huh? I got 12.18.
I got 12.
I also got 12. I got 12. He did not do that.
Okay, whoever got 18 should double check it. Where did you get first? Did you get 12 first?
Yeah, I got 12 first.
All right, what did you plug it into?
I plugged it into the 3x plus 2y.
So 36 plus 2y equals 54. So 2y equals 18.
Oh, and
All right, everybody okay with 12.9? All right, what happens next?
Plug it in.
Right here. And the biggest one wins.
0.25.
So 25 times 25 would be 625. So what are you going to tell this factory to do?
So all vanilla cookies.
Yeah, now, let's talk about that for a minute. Mathematically, that would be exactly, that would bring the most money in, right? Do you think that long-term, that's a good strategy?
No.
No, because what happens?
People just get
People get upset.
Well, if you're only selling vanilla Coke,
The variety.
then you're relying on a bunch of people liking vanilla Coke. How many of you drink vanilla Coke? 2 of you? Yeah, we probably ought to make something else besides vanilla Coke, right? Mathematically, you are exactly right. You should do this right here. But in reality, if I'm a businessman, I think I'm going to rethink that.
Like maybe, so like, could they scale that? So as in like multiple goals?
Yep. But you do want to keep in mind that these are the average that you can't Coke.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Okay, we'll stop there. What I would like for you to do right now, oh no, we're not packing up.